welcome back to our Bible in a Year reading plan. I am Shanique, and we are on day 7, and we are reading from Genesis chapter 24 to 25. And I will be reading from the New American Standard Bible. All right, let's get started. So, Genesis chapter 24. Now, Abraham was old, advanced in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in every way. Abraham said to his servant, the oldest of his household, who was in charge of all that he owned, please place your hand on my thigh, and I will make you swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I live, but you will go to my country and to my relatives and take a wife for my son Isaac. The servant said to him, suppose the woman is not willing to follow me to this land. Should I take your son back to the land where you came? Then Abraham said to him, beware that you do not take my son back there. The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my birth, and who spoke to me and who swore to me, saying, to your descendants I will give this land. He will send his angel ahead of you, and you will take a wife for my son from there. But if the woman is not willing to follow you, then you will be free of this oath of mine. Only do not take my son back there. So the servant placed his hand under the thigh of his master Abraham and swore to him concerning this matter. Then the servant took 10 camels from the camels of his master and went out with a variety of good things of his master's in his hand. So he set out and went to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nahor. He made the camels kneel down outside the city by the well of water. When it was evening, the time when the women came out to draw water, and he said, Lord, God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today and show kindness to my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the spring, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Now may it be that the young woman to whom I say, please let down your jar, so that I may drink, and who answers, drink, and I will water your camels also. May she be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. And by this I know that you have shown kindness to my master. And it came about before he had finished speaking, that behold, Rebekah, who was born to Bethuel the son of Milcah, the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor, came out with her jar on her shoulder. The young woman was very beautiful, a virgin. No man had relations with her. She went down to the spring, filled her jar, came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, please, let me drink a little water from your jar. And she said, drink, my lord. Then she quickly lowered her jar to her hand and gave him a drink. Now when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, I will also draw water for your camels until they have finished drinking. So she quickly emptied her jar into the throw and ran back to the well to draw, and she drew for all his camels. Meanwhile, the man was taking a close look at her in silence to find out whether the Lord had made this journey successful or not. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold ring weighing a half shekel and 2 bracelets for her wrist weighing 10 shekels in gold, and he said, whose daughter are you? Please tell me, is there room for us to stay overnight at your father's house? She said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, Milcah's son, whom she bore to Nahor. Again she said to him, we have plenty of both straw and feed and room to stay overnight. Then the man bowed low and worshipped the Lord, and he said, blessed be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not abandoned his kindness and his trustworthiness toward my master. As for me, the Lord has guided me in the way to the house of my master's brothers. Then the young man ran and told her mother's household about these things. Now Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban, and Laban ran outside to the man at the spring. When she saw the ring and the bracelet on his sister's wrist, and when he heard the words of his sister Rebekah saying, this is what the man said to me, he went to the man, and behold, he was standing by the camels at the spring. And he said, Come in, blessed of the Lord. Why do you stand outside, since I have prepared the house and a place for the camels? So the man entered the house. Then Laban unloaded the camels, and he gave straw and feed to the camels, and water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him. But when the food was set before him to eat, he said, I will not eat until I have stated my business. And he said, Speak on. So he said, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has greatly blessed my master, so that he has become rich, and he has given him flocks and herds and silver and gold and servants and slave women and camels and donkeys. Now my master's wife Sarah bore a son to my master in her old age, and he has given him all that he has. My master made me swear, saying, You shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I live, but you shall go to my father's house and to my relatives and take a wife for my son. Then I said to my master, Suppose the woman does not follow me. And he said to me, The Lord before whom I have walked will send his angel with you to make your journey successful, and you will take a wife for my son from my relatives and from my father's house. Then you will be free from my oath. When you come to my relatives, and if they do not give her to you, you will be free from my oath. So I came today to the spring and said, Lord, God of my master Abraham, if now you will make my journey on which I have been successful, behold, I am standing by the spring, and may it be that the young unmarried woman who comes out to draw water, and to whom I say, Please let me drink a little water from your jar, and she says to me, You drink, and I will draw for your camels also. Let her be the woman whom the Lord has appointed for my master's son. Before I had finished speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came out with her jar on her shoulder, and went down to the spring and drew water, and I said to her, Please, let me drink. She quickly lowered her jar from her shoulder and said, Drink, and I will water your camels also. So I drank, and she watered the camels also. Then I asked her and said, Whose daughter are you? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bore to him. And I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrists. And I bowed low and worshipped the Lord and blessed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had guided me in the right way to take the daughters of my master's brother for his son. So now, if you are going to deal kindly and truthfully with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me now so that I may turn to the right or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel replied, The matter has come from the Lord, so we cannot speak to you bad or good. Here is Rebekah before you. Take her and go, and let her be the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has spoken. When Abraham's servant heard these words, he bowed himself to the ground before the Lord. And the servant brought out articles of silver and articles of gold and garments, and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave precious things to her brother and to her mother. Then he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night. When they got up in the morning, he said, Send me away to my master. But her brother and her mother said, Let the young woman stay with us a few days, say 10. Afterwards she may go. However, he said to them, Do not delay me, since the Lord has prospered my way. Send me away so that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the young woman and ask her. Then they called Rebekah and said to her, Will you go with this man? And she said, I will go. So they sent away their sister Rebekah and her nurse with Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, May you, our sister, become thousands of 10,000s, and may your descendants possess the gate of those who hate them. Then Rebekah got up with her female attendants, and they mounted the camels and followed the man. So the servant took Rebekah and departed. Now Isaac had come back from a journey to Beer-lahai-roi, for he was living in Negev. Isaac went out to meditate in the field toward evening, and he raised his eyes and looked, and behold, camels were coming. Rebekah raised her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she dismounted from the camel. She said to the servant, Who is that man walking the field to meet us? And the servant said, He's my master. Then she took her veil and covered herself. The servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. Then Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent, and he took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Chapter 25. Now Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore to him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan followed Sheba and Dedan, and the sons of Dedan were Ashurim, Lepushim, and Lumin. The sons of Midian were Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Elda. All of these were the sons of Keturah. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, but to the sons of his concubines, Abraham gave gifts while he was still living and sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the land of the east. These are all the years of Abraham's life that he lived, 175 years. Abraham breathed his last and died at a good old age, an old man and satisfied with life, and he was gathered to his people. Then his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar, the Hittite, facing Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased from the sons of Heth. There Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. It came about after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac lived by Beer Lahai Roi. Now these are the records of the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's slave woman, bore to Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael by their names, in the order of their birth. Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael, Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jethur, Naphish, and Kedema. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names by their villages and by their camps, 12 princes according to their tribes. These are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people. They settled from Havilah to Shur, which is the east of Egypt, going toward Assyria. He settled in defiance of all his relatives. Now these are the records of the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham fathered Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padanaram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean, to be his wife. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was unable to have children, and the Lord answered him. And his wife Rebekah conceived, but the children struggled together within her, and she said, "If it is so, why am I in this condition?" So she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said to her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples will be separated from your body, and one people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When her days leading to the delivery were at an end, behold, there were twins in her womb. Now the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, and they named him Esau. Afterward, his brother came out with his hand holding onto Esau's heel. So he was named Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when he gave birth to them. When the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field, but Jacob was a civilized man living in tents. Now Isaac loved Esau because he had a taste for game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. When Jacob had cooked a stew one day, Esau came in from the field and he was exhausted. And Esau said to Jacob, "Please let me have a mouthful of that red stuff there, for I am exhausted." Therefore he was called Edom by name. But Jacob said, "First, sell me your birthright," Esau said. "Look, I'm about to die, so of what use then is the birthright to me?" And Jacob said, "First swear to me." So he swore an oath to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew, and he ate and drank and got up and went on his way. So Esau despised his birthright. Okay, so that is Genesis 24 to 25. Now, in chapter 24, we see the Lord providing a wife for Isaac. So he provides Rebekah. And time again, we see that God is faithful and that he never fails his people that he has called, right? And we'll eventually see the Messiah coming through the line of Isaac. Now, in chapter 25, we are introduced to Jacob, right? Isaac prayed to the Lord when Rebekah was barren, and then Rebekah conceived twins. Now, During Rebecca's pregnancy, the brothers, they struggled with each other in the womb, right? But the Lord promised something out of the ordinary when he said that the older will serve the younger. And this family, despite their dysfunction, as you see Isaac favoring Esau and Rebekah favors Jacob, as the tension grows, Esau eventually sells his birthright for a bowl of stew, right? But as you'll eventually see from the story, time and again, the Bible reminds us that the promises of God are not dependent on us. God's promises are solely and fully dependent on Him. Okay, and that is day 7. I hope you join us again tomorrow for day 8 in our Bible in a Year reading plan. And once again, if you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to subscribe so that way you'll be notified whenever we publish a new video.